Okay, I just want to take a couple of minutes and talk about the last three on the the front side of the sheet that some of you have handed in already and some of you hadn't. The ones that I've graded so far, 90% of you did not do these correctly. So that's why I thought I would just talk about them for a few minutes. And then if you wanted to redo them, it was the ones with fractions that messed most of you up. So if you know you're one of the people that got messed up with the fractions and you've already handed it in, I don't mind if you take a few minutes today and redo those and give them to me tomorrow, and I'll replace the ones you gave. So it's from about 23 on for some of you, but I went to the bottom three because I thought they might have been the toughest. Just like what I said in the last video, the easiest way to deal with fractions is to multiply by the lowest common denominator. So in number 28, the lowest common denominator is going to be 12. But now when you multiply something by 12, in an equation you have to multiply everything by 12. And that's where some of you got messed up. So multiply this by 12, multiply this by 12, multiply this by 12, and multiply this by 12. Okay? So when we multiply 12 by 4 over 3, again we can reduce. 3 goes into 12 4 times, and it leaves us with 4 times 4, which is 16x. 5 times 12 is going to be 30, maybe 60. Sorry, I was trying to focus the iPad. And that's equal to, on this side, again, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So 3 times 3 is 9x, and 4 times 12 is going to be 48. And now it's just a simple equation that you can take the x's to one side and the whole numbers to the other and solve for x. Okay, so you should be able to do the rest of that one on your own now. Let's look at this one. Again, do exactly the same thing. Multiply by the lowest common denominator, which in this case would be 15. So multiply this by 15, multiply this by 15. This time there's just one term on each side. When you multiply this by 15, the 3 goes into 15 5 times, and you're left with 5 times x plus 2. 15 goes into 15, and you're just left with x plus 6, and now you should be able to complete that. Okay, for number 30, again, lowest common denominator, and this time it would be 12. And again, for those of you that have handed it in, a number of you knew to multiply this term and this term by 12, but you left out these other two little guys. They were very upset. They were totally neglected and ignored. You gotta multiply every term in the equation by 12 if you're gonna multiply by 12. So then this cancels and gives me 3, so it'll be brackets 3 brackets h minus 5 plus 12h. Again, this will cancel and leave me with 4, so it'll be 4 brackets 4h and then minus the 3 times 12. Okay, and then you should be able to finish that one. So please go back, those of you that have already handed in, and try these. For those of you that are only going to hand it in tomorrow because we keep missing each other, go back and make sure you got them right, and then treat all the other fraction ones the same way. Okay, I also wanted to talk for a minute about the rearranging on the back side of the sheet. Okay, just to make sure, because that's what I'm asking you to do for homework today. And so just to make sure you know what you're doing. So the first one is 2x plus, is this. Okay, and what it says is rearrange the following for x, which means it wants you to get all the terms with x on one side. You're not going to get like x equals 6 anymore. It's going to have a y in the answer. You're not going to be able to get a number, but you want to get x all by itself alone. Okay, so we have an x here, and we have an x here. So the first thing we have to do is get rid of this bracket. And to get rid of this bracket, you multiply through. So 6x plus 30y is going to equal 2x plus 9y. So now you want all the terms with x to one side, so bring the 2x over. And all the terms that don't have x in it, take to the other side. So it's going to become 6x minus 2x, and that's going to equal 9y minus 30y. 6x minus 2x should just be 4x. 9y minus 30y will be negative 21y. We want x all by itself, divide by 4. And so our answer is x is equal to negative 21y over 4. We don't actually have a value. It's not pretty anymore. But it's because it's dependent on y. But you're done there. Okay? Now some of them might cause a little issue. For example, number 2. Number 2 is 4xy plus 9x equals 14. It's going to cause a little issue because you can't add these together. This one has an xy in it and this one has an x in it, and you want to get the x alone. Okay? I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I'm not going to make you hand it in, but I want you to try. Okay? And after you try, don't stress if you don't get it. If you don't get number 2, number 3 is a little easier, number 4 is a little easier, and then 5 is kind of like number 2. Okay? So try these and see how you do. Don't worry, we'll go over them tomorrow. So if you can't get them, that's okay. It's all about trying. All right? And I'll do one more video on the trig sheet in case you need that. All right, good luck.